I never thought my family would mock a Thanksgiving dinner meant to help others, but that's exactly what happened last week. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 34, and for the past year, I've been quietly turning my two-car garage into a weekly soup kitchen for local families struggling to make ends meet. It started small. After my neighbor Lisa lost her job last winter, I noticed her kids weren't bringing lunch to school anymore. I began making extra portions at dinner, packing them in containers, and leaving them on her porch. No note, no fuss, just food for a family in need. Then Lisa mentioned her friend Maria, a single mom working 2 jobs, who sometimes had to choose between paying rent and feeding her 3 kids. So I started cooking for Maria's family too. Word spread quietly through our suburban community, and soon I was cooking for 5 families, then 10. I cleaned out my garage, installed some basic kitchen equipment, and started serving hot meals every Wednesday evening. Nothing fancy, just honest, filling food and a warm place to eat it. I used my savings to buy folding tables, plastic chairs, and yes, paper plates. Every penny went to food and supplies rather than decorations. My family didn't know about any of this. They lived across town in their big houses with their perfect lives, and I kept my weekly dinners private. But when Thanksgiving approached, I couldn't bear the thought of my family's eating alone. I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year, I announced during our monthly family dinner at my mother's house. My sister-in-law, Amanda, nearly choked on her wine. In your tiny house? She laughed, exchanging glances with my mother. Where will everyone sit? The living room barely fits 4 people. The garage, I said firmly. I've cleaned it out. There's plenty of space. My mother set down her fork with a clatter. The garage? Sarah, don't be ridiculous. We always have Thanksgiving here. I've already planned the menu. Not this year, Mom. I'm hosting. I met her gaze steadily. Everyone's welcome to come. Who's everyone? Amanda asked, her perfectly plucked eyebrows rising. Surely you don't mean my guests and their families, I said. About 40 people total. The silence that followed was deafening. My brother Tom shifted uncomfortably in his chair, while my father suddenly became very interested in his mashed potatoes. 40 people? In your garage? My mother's voice dripped with disdain. With plastic tables and paper plates, I assume. How? Quaint. Yes, Mom, plastic tables, paper plates, and the best damn turkey dinner they've had all year. I stood up, my appetite gone. Dinner's at 2. Come or don't. It's your choice. The week before Thanksgiving, the snide comments started. First came the concerned phone calls from relatives. Sarah, dear, you can't possibly serve dinner in a garage. What will the neighbors think? This is so embarrassing for the family. Then Amanda started posting on social media. She drove by my house while I was setting up and snapped photos through the open garage door. Can't wait for our classy family Thanksgiving, she wrote, adding hashtags like #TrailerTrashThanksgiving and #GarageSale. I blocked her on social media, but not before her posts had sparked a flurry of laughing emoji reactions from our extended family. Only my cousin Kate called to defend me. They're being horrible, she said. Do you need any help with dinner? I thanked her but said I had it covered. What I didn't tell her was that my regular Wednesday night volunteers, Lisa, Maria, and 3 other moms, had insisted on helping. We spent 2 days cooking, 5 turkeys, mountains of mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, stuffing, and pies. So many pies. Thanksgiving morning dawned clear and cold. We set up long rows of tables in the garage, covered them with cheap plastic tablecloths, and arranged chairs we'd borrowed from the community center. It wasn't fancy, but with space heaters running and fall decorations made by the kids, it felt warm and welcoming. At 1 o'clock, my first guests started arriving. Lisa brought her famous mac and cheese. Maria's oldest daughter had made paper flowers for the tables. Families trickled in, bringing dishes to share, hugging me, thanking me, though I told them 100 times no thanks were necessary. At 1:30, I saw Amanda's SUV drive past slowly. She had her phone out, no doubt taking more photos for social media. I ignored her and kept greeting guests, showing them where to put their coats, making sure everyone had a place to sit. At 1:45, I noticed a white van parking across the street. Through the garage door, I could see the logo on its side, but I was too busy carving turkeys to pay much attention. At 1:50, my mother's Mercedes pulled up, followed by several other family members' cars. They stood in a tight cluster in the driveway, staring at the scene before them. My garage full of laughing people, children running around, the air rich with the smell of roasting turkey and pumpkin pie. Amanda stepped forward, her phone already raised. "Oh my God, this is even worse than I thought. Is that a plastic fork in your hand, Mom?" But before my mother could respond, a voice called out from behind them. "Excuse me, are you Sarah Mitchell?" We all turned to see a woman approaching with a microphone, followed by a cameraman. The logo on their van was now clearly visible, Channel 5 News. "Yes," I said, my heart pounding. "I'm Sarah." The reporter smiled warmly. "I'm Jessica Chen from Channel 5. We received several calls about what you've been doing here, the weekly meals, the community support. Would you mind if we did a story about your Thanksgiving dinner?" I heard Amanda's phone clatter to the ground. The silence that followed was deafening. My mother's face had gone pale, while Amanda stood frozen, her falling phone forgotten on the driveway. The news crew waited patiently, but before I could respond, Lisa stepped forward. "You should absolutely do a story about Sarah," she said, her voice strong and clear. "She's been feeding families in this community for months. My kids would have gone hungry some nights if it weren't for her." Maria joined in. "She never asks for anything in return, never makes anyone feel ashamed. She just helps." The reporter's eyes lit up. "Is that right? How many families have you been helping, Sarah?" I felt my cheeks flush. "About 40 regular families now. We do dinner every Wednesday. Today's just bigger." "Bigger indeed," Jessica said, looking around at the full garage. "Would you mind if we filmed some of your Thanksgiving celebration? Get some interviews with the families you've helped." "I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable," I said, glancing at the families gathered inside. But to my surprise, hands started raising throughout the garage. "I'll talk to you." "Me too." "You should hear what she did for my family." The reporter beamed. "Looks like we have plenty of willing participants. Shall we start with a tour?" My family still hadn't moved from their cluster in the driveway. Amanda had retrieved her phone and was frantically tapping at it, probably trying to delete her mocking posts before they could be discovered. "Of course," I said to Jessica, "but first, Mom, Dad, everyone. Dinner's ready if you'd like to join us. There's plenty of food." My father was the first to move. He walked into the garage, looking around with new eyes at the setup I created. "You did all this yourself, Sarah?" "The families help," I said. "Everyone brings what they can. We make it work." The cameraman was filming now, capturing the scene as my father picked up a paper plate and got in line for food. One by one, my other relatives followed suit, though Amanda and my mother remained rooted in place. As the news crew conducted interviews, I heard story after story that brought tears to my eyes. Not just about the food, but about the community we built. How the kids did homework together at the tables while their parents ate and talked. How 3 of the moms had found jobs through connections made at our Wednesday dinners. How no one felt alone anymore. "Sarah," Jessica asked during a quiet moment, "what made you start this?" I thought about Lisa's kids, about my own comfortable life, about how easy it had been to share what I had. "It just seemed like the right thing to do," I said simply. "Everyone needs help sometimes, and everyone deserves to enjoy a meal with dignity. Even if it's served on paper plates," she asked with a knowing smile, and I realized she must have seen Amanda's social media posts. "Especially then," I replied. "The plates don't matter. The food doesn't even matter, not really. It's about having a place where you belong." As if to prove my point, I looked around the garage. My father was deep in conversation with Lisa's husband about car repairs. My cousin Kate's kids were playing with Maria's children in the corner. Even my normally standoffish uncle was laughing at a joke told by one of our regular Wednesday night guests. The only ones not participating were my mother and Amanda, who had retreated to the Mercedes but hadn't left. Through the car window, I could see them gesturing frantically, probably trying to figure out how to spin this situation in their favor. "One last question," Jessica said. "What would you say to others who might want to start something similar in their community?" I thought about the past year, about the joy and friendship I found in this unlikely place. "Start small," I said. "Help one person, make one extra meal, share what you have. The rest will follow." The news crew stayed for almost 2 hours, filming the celebration, conducting interviews, capturing the warmth and joy that filled my tacky garage. As they were packing up to leave, Jessica turned to me one last time. This story will air tomorrow evening at 6, she said, but I should warn you, I've already sent some clips to our main office. They're talking about picking it up for national distribution. My heart skipped a beat. National? She nodded. Stories like this, they give people hope. Show them what's possible when one person decides to make a difference. She handed me her card. We'll definitely be following up. The holiday season is just beginning after all. As the news van pulled away, I noticed my mother's Mercedes was still parked in the driveway. After a moment, both front doors opened. Amanda emerged first, her expression unreadable. My mother followed more slowly, clutching her designer purse like a shield. My mother approached me slowly, her heels clicking on the driveway. Inside the garage, the celebration continued. Laughter, conversation, and the clink of plastic utensils creating a warm backdrop to what I knew would be a difficult conversation. Sarah, she began, her voice unusually hesitant. We. For once, my always articulate mother seemed at a loss for words. The food's still warm, I said quietly. There's plenty left if you'd like some. Amanda stepped forward, her perfectly made-up face showing signs of distress. I deleted all the posts, she blurted out. And the photos. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I had no idea. No, you didn't, I agreed. Because you never asked. None of you did. You were too busy judging to wonder why I might choose to serve Thanksgiving dinner in my garage. My mother's eyes filled with tears, real ones, not the manipulative kind I'd seen her use at family gatherings. When did you become so generous? I supplied. Compassionate? I learned it from Dad, actually. Remember how he used to fix the neighbors' cars for free when they couldn't afford repairs? Or how he'd plow everyone's driveways in winter without being asked. My father, who had wandered over to join us, cleared his throat. I didn't know you remembered that, sweetheart. I remembered everything, Dad, including how Mom and Amanda always complained about you wasting time helping others. I turned back to them. That's why I never told any of you what I was doing here. I couldn't bear to hear you mock these families the way you mocked Dad's kindness. Amanda's lower lip trembled. But where did you get the money for all this? You don't make that much more than I do. I laughed softly. I don't spend $500 on handbags or get weekly manicures. I don't need a new car every 2 years. Everything I say goes into this, into feeding people who really need it. My mother looked around the garage with new eyes, taking in the simple decorations made by the children, the donated dishes alongside my cooking, the mixed collection of chairs and tables that somehow worked together perfectly. It's not about the plates, Mom, I said gently, or the garage or how it looks on social media. It's about making sure no one goes hungry. It's about building a community where everyone matters. A small voice piped up behind us. Miss Sarah, can I have more pie? We turned to see Tommy, Lisa's youngest, holding up his empty paper plate. His face was smeared with pumpkin pie filling, and his second-hand clothes were slightly too big, but his smile could have lit up the whole neighborhood. My mother knelt down to his level, something I'd never seen her do before. Would you like me to help you get some pie, young man? Tommy nodded enthusiastically, and to my amazement, my mother took his small hand and led him back to the dessert table. I watched as she carefully served him a slice of pie, then sat down next to him while he ate, listening intently as he told her about his kindergarten class. Amanda touched my arm. The news story. It's going national? Apparently. Good, she said firmly. Maybe it will inspire other people to do something similar. I'd like to help if you let me. I'm pretty good at organizing, and maybe we could set up an online donation system. I studied my sister-in-law's face, seeing genuine remorse, and something else. Hope maybe. A chance to be part of something meaningful. We serve dinner every Wednesday at 6, I said. Wear comfortable shoes and be prepared to work hard. She nodded, then impulsively hugged me. I really am sorry about those posts. I know, but it's not me you need to apologize to. I gestured to the families enjoying their desserts. It's them. Over the next hour, I watched as my mother and Amanda integrated themselves into our gathering. Mom discovered that Maria had a talent for baking and immediately began discussing recipes. Amanda offered to tutor some of the kids in math. My father was already making plans to start a free car maintenance clinic in my garage on weekends. As the afternoon wound down and families began to leave, each carrying leftovers in containers we'd collected over the past year, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. This wasn't the Thanksgiving I had expected. It was better. Jessica from Channel 5 was right. The holiday season was just beginning, and thanks to the upcoming news story, our little garage community was about to get a lot bigger. But now, looking at my family pitching in to help with cleanup, I knew we'd handle it together. Sarah, my mother said as she stacked plastic chairs, next year, I think we should knock down the wall between your garage and the kitchen. Make it a proper space for all this. Your father and I will pay for it. I smiled, remembering all the times she'd offered to pay for renovations to make my house more presentable. But this time was different. This time, it wasn't about appearances. Thanks, Mom, I said, but only if you promise to keep using paper plates. She laughed, a real laugh, possibly the first I'd heard from her in years. Deal. After all, paper plates mean more money for food. I'm learning. Yes, I thought, watching my family and my garage family work together. We all were.